Hello and welcome to the New Creators Podcast. My name is Micah.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Oren.
Alrighty, and we are glad to be back and bringing you episode 17 of the New Creators Podcast. Which is
We're
crazy
nearing 20.
That far, nearing 20 indeed. We're gonna have to do something special for that episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us. We have guest Oren on here, who's
Hello.
You may know from Waste of or random programming projects. So we'll hear from him a lot more later in this episode. Let's see if we've got any interesting analytics for you today from previous episodes.
All right, let's go.
Let's see here. Okay. I always find the audience is the most interesting thing to look at. So we've got, it looks about just the same as last episode. Still, the United States is still number one at 65% of our listeners, 16% from the United Kingdom, 6% from Australia, and 5% from Canada. And then 1% of a lot of other countries: Saudi Arabia, India, France, Germany, New Zealand, Malaysia, Switzerland, Sweden. A lot of countries in there.
Hello to all those countries that you just mentioned.
Indeed. And the age chart has changed a little bit.
Oh.
It has gone down to 6.1% of our listeners are over 45 years old.
So we're not keeping the older generation.
That makes sense.
Damn.
That makes sense. Well, yeah. Hey, you win some, you lose some.
I talked about Reddit last week, and that was it. It was over then.
Yeah. But we're talking about them more today, so
yeah. Sorry.
we shall continue. We shall continue to lose our following there. iPhone continues to be the most listened device. So 28% of our listens.
Let's go.
Android close behind.
I was waiting on Oren saying something like that.
I was also waiting for Oren to say something like that. That's funny. But yeah, that's just about it. As far as episode rankings, don't believe anything has changed a lot. Was the Couches episode, was that the last episode?
No, that was
Launches and Languages.
Yes,
was the last one.
yeah, that was the one with Elsie.
Launches and Languages has surpassed Couches and Blimps in terms of plays, which is interesting because that rarely happens. But yeah, so Elsie must have been advertising hard for that one.
Yeah, very nice. I can't believe Blimp's been surpassed.
I know. That was a good... Dude, that's our least listened episode.
That's an insane
episode.
Good episode. That was a wild episode.
That's like my favorite episode.
It's a good episode. If you haven't listened to Couches and Blimps, you're missing out.
I know. I'm going to advertise a little bit here because Micah, you weren't there, but I got to see Blimp live. I saw Corbin walk to off camera, come back just holding this the
Next time we have Corbin on the podcast, then I'm going to ask him. I'm gonna ask him if I can see Blimp. I want to see Blimp.
You have to see him. You have to. It's amazing, man. It was so out of the blue. They've never told Perrin or Corbin has never told me that was a thing that Corbin owned, and then just randomly he just comes out with this, and I'm like, okay then.
I love Blimp. Blimp is amazing.
Amazing. Like I said,
though I think it's slightly lessened if you haven't seen or if you didn't watch TNC live, the effect of that episode was probably reduced a little since y'all spent a lot of time talking about TNC live.
True,
but
that's another thing.
But regardless, I think it's just amazing.
I shared.
I know, yeah. You can go back.
Yeah, because I shared
the old ones.
Exactly, because I shared a meme this past week about how it was the one with the scary dog, and then it's the friendly Labrador. So the friendly Labrador is the TNC podcast, and then the scary dog's TNC live. That's what it feels like. It's just absolute chaos.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't seen TNC live, or you haven't seen Couches and Blimps episode 15 of the podcast, then you can see those wherever podcasts are found, and TNC live can be found on youtube.com/@thenewcreators.
Nice plug. Nice.
Indeed. Well, we are back. What's some interesting stuff we've been doing, Sean? Why don't you take us away?
All right.
What's been going on?
All right, I'm off. So I thought first we'd talk a little bit about. It's kind of like a thing. I'm not technically the person that is like running it or anything, but obviously it's like it's part of my server. It's kind of something we've been doing a lot recently. You and Mike, me and Micah, and Perrin, and that's the Taz Hangout SMP. We just had it launch. I think it was. I don't know. I can't remember when it launched now. I think it was just at the end of last week. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Sounds right.
so it's run by QE Mexis, who you might know from Scratch and Waste Up as well. And yeah, we've been kind of working on that. Me, Perrin, and Micah kind of have our own little group. We've just built Oriali Manor, and yeah, it's been pretty fun. At least I think it's fun anyway.
Yeah. No, it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a good way to kind of honestly kind of like get to know the members of the server a little bit better, because it's when you're interacting with them, even if it's a virtual space, if you're interacting with them in space, it's a little different than interacting just over text. So it has been interesting to see the dynamics between some people and to see how teams have formed and stuff like that. But yeah.
Yeah,
Also, I want to clarify for those who aren't familiar with the SMP acronym. It stands for Survival Multiplayer. It just essentially means like a survival Minecraft server where
yeah.
everyone can play. So
And Dream is not involved because I think everyone seems to like put that word synonymous with Dream nowadays. So just clarifying, nothing to do with that. But yeah, it's been really fun just to kind of muck about with it. And I thought actually this kind of segues quite good to the other thing I wanted to quickly mention, which was Bot, which you're kind of working on. It's more your thing, but I thought since obviously it's part of my server, which you seem to bring up in every podcast episode now. But
unavoidable.
pretty much. But yeah, it's pretty cool because it kind of ties into the SMP because it's been built to have a command that lets people see who's online, if the server's running, and I think a bit more info, like what if it's a Java server and stuff like that. And yeah,
It also gives you the IP address too. So,
yeah.
and the port. So
But yeah, it's pretty cool. And like I say, hopefully we'll have some more features for it in the future as well. We have some of our communities also working hopefully on a few commands as well. I know some of them were saying they want to work on it. So hopefully we'll see some new features as well at some point in the future.
sure, yeah. And if not from community members, then I'm also kind of thinking through some stuff that I may add relatively
Ooh.
soon. So
Micah
yeah,
just
that's
slaving away here.
upcoming.
Can't stop, won't
I
stop.
mean, I gotta say, I'll talk about that in a minute a little bit. What I've been filling my days with these last like 2 weeks.
A
But,
lot of Minecraft.
a lot of a lot of or why don't you tell us what you've been working on, and you can kind of introduce yourself in the process since this is your first time on the podcast.
I'm Oren, and I'm from Money. And currently I'm working on like the Money iOS app. I mean, we'll get to that like later. But also I've been going to like a lot of camps because I have a camp that's like the entirety of next week. Then I have another one in Virginia that's like the entirety of the week after that. So I have a lot of
Oh
different
wow,
camps to go to.
gotcha. That's neat.
Cool.
My brothers are doing a lot of camps too, so I get that. It's one of the things I've been dealing with is my since my brothers have been going to these various camps and stuff like that. We have a dog. Is a very low maintenance dog. However, the dog has attachment issues to my brothers, and he really wants to be among my brothers all the time. So I've been having to like deal with this dog, and it has been a trial.
What's the dog's name, by the way? I just want to quickly ask because I have to know now.
Oh, it's like the generic dog name number 2. It's
Rover.
Buddy.
Oh, Buddy. Fair enough. I was gonna go with Rover there.
Wait, hold up. Rover, is that like is that a common name in UK?
I mean, it's just the one.
I've never heard a dog named Rover.
The first I've heard, at least I think is a common name. Maybe who knows?
Interesting.
I don't know like what the generic name would be here in Scotland or UK more broadly. I'm trying to think. I mean, not really. I can't really think of one honestly. I mean, my friend, she's got a dog called Alfie. I think that's quite a common dog name as well.
Interesting. Huh. Y'all are more creative. I appreciate y'all's names more. America's names are like
I don't
trying to think,
know.
what was the other, like we got like Buddy, what is the
Buddy does sound quite American.
Fido is one.
Fido. Yeah.
Fido,
really good
yeah.
dog names.
I was actually thinking,
What's
I'm thinking Rover.
Max? We got a lot of Maxes.
Yeah, that's another quite. I think that's quite another quite American one. We don't have many people
Oh, and
just called
Spot.
Max. Yeah, because like I was actually just thinking. I think maybe Rover, because like I don't know if it's actually true, but it sounds like it might have came from the Land Rover, since Land Rover is also was a British car to start with before they got bought. But
Ah,
it could be that. Who knows?
interesting.
There you go. I mean, I have absolutely no clue. I might get corrected because I'm probably wrong, but it sounds like that might be where it came from.
I'm looking at this website. This is the most common male dog names. Buddy is number one.
Yeah,
So
I'm not surprised. It is a very dog.
is a very generic name.
Yeah.
I find it funny that Loki is also on the list of the most common dog names. That's interesting.
I wonder where they got that from.
Ah, Kobe is too, and Thor. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's mostly pop culture stuff, which makes sense.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been doing again dog sitting essentially. A lot of app maintenance and development type stuff. Again, the relaunch of Ariali with a different like framework and all of that kind of happened. Was that also? That was a little after. That would have been beginning of this week.
I think
right?
just just
Because-
the start of this week. Actually, I can check when the announcement was made in the server because I think that was the same day. I think the day after you actually started work on it. So I posted the announcement on the 20th. So that was 4 days ago. So 5 days ago. Yeah. So about the start of this week.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So So I've been working on Ariali I've been doing, as always, just some maintenance and upgrade work on the CAF app, which is the app for my school's cafeteria. That is kind of just a fun personal project. Then working on some waste of mobile updates that will.
Yeah, we're getting dots, aren't we?
be-
We're getting the dots on the app.
You're getting a lot of stuff, honestly.
Ooh.
There is a lot. This next update, like instead of releasing it as like multiple individual updates, I'm kind of like releasing it as like one like larger update. That's probably gonna come out, I don't know, within the next 30 days is my goal. But there's a lot of bug fixes and just like quality of life fixes, and so over the next 30 days, hopefully it'll be a significantly more polished product than it is now.
Nice. So we're going to be
yeah.
eating good. Very nice.
Indeed, eating good. Except I don't charge people for it. So I'm not eating good.
Yeah. Very nice.
Such is the life of an open source developer.
Rip. Thanks, open source developers. Love you. We're even using it right now with Audacity, so.
We are. Open source software is the way to go. Love it.
Yep.
Love to see it.
Big W there.
Indeed. It just occurred to me that my fan's on. I'm going to turn that off.
I have a fan right next to me, but I've turned it off because I knew it would be absolutely. It'd sound like I'm in the middle of like one of those tunnels, like the wind tunnels.
I never use my fan, like, at all.
Yeah, because you guys have air conditioning, we don't. So I'm.
Imagine not
Burn.
having air
Well,
conditioning.
I kind of don't have air conditioning.
Oh my god!
because,
What?
The room.
No way.
The room I'm living in is it's that my house is weird. My house is designed so that like the whole bottom floor is just like like normal house. The top floor, however, is built like structurally like just like a standard upper floor to a house. However, it was designed. It's like all current like most of it is just attic space, and it's designed to be like finished out into like an actual house. But right now, there's not like most of the rooms upstairs don't have like insulation or anything like that. They're just like we're just using them as attic space. And so the room I'm in is the only room upstairs that actually has like insulation and like flooring and like ceiling and stuff like that. However, there's like one vent in the entire room, and it doesn't really work because most of the air is going to other portions of the house. So I have like a window unit kind of like AC thing up here, just because it gets so hot.
Yeah, you
We
actually
also have,
need
like-
that because you're like in Tennessee, right?
I do. Yes, I would say we're in Memphis, which is like
It gets pretty hot there.
ridiculously hot. It gets so hot and so humid, so it's bad. But
I always feel
Yeah,
really
so I'm kind
bad
of
saying
just
it's
chilling
hot
here.
over here because your guys' like idea of hot is like absolutely like insane compared to us.
Wait, so how hot does it get there?
So actually, let me check the weather just now. Hold on, BBC weather. Let's have a quick look. So it is currently in where I am 23 degrees Celsius. So I'll need to change.
Celsius to Fahrenheit.
Sorry,
Let's see here.
I'm
Okay,
sorry. I live in
70.
Europe. I
Wait,
use
73.
Celsius.
No, that's fair. Celsius has always made more sense than Fahrenheit. It's just I can't switch because no one knows what I'm talking about if I talk about Celsius. So
Yeah, I didn't even know you guys used like 12-hour time quite a lot because we don't a lot here at all really, except from like analog
really,
clocks. Yeah, like my watch, I'm wearing a watch right now and it's all 24-hour. Even my computer is 24-hour. My phone's 24-hour too. It seems to be like quite a
interesting.
like I can't remember who it was I was talking to, but in my server I was talking to someone. They said like, "Why are you talking in military time?" I'm like, "That's not military time. That's 24-hour time. What do you mean?" And I was so confused, and then that's when I found out a lot of people in America seem to use 12-hour, which I didn't realize.
I
My
think the vast majority of people like it's called military. We call it military time for a reason.
Yeah,
It's
because
it's primarily used by the
see,
military.
that's
But
strange because like when I think of military time, because like when I say 24-hour, that's like when you have two numbers and then a colon, then another two numbers. When I think of military time here, at least our military, they just do like over 400 hours or whatever it is. So
yeah,
there's no
that's I think that's
colon.
technically the
So I guess they're maybe
definition.
the
I think that's
exact. They're kind of the
technically
same, but you know, yeah.
yeah. That is interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know. I find it there's less numbers to keep up with in 12-hour time, so I vastly prefer it. I like have to like if you give me a time in like 12 and 24-hour time, I would have to like
All right.
sit and like think
So,
a
all right, let's
second
do
of
it.
like what
Hot
time is it actually?
pop quiz, hot shot. It's 16:28 here right now. What's the time?
16:28. 4:30.
Yeah. That was so close. You're almost so close to getting wrong there. So the way I do
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I totally cheated because I know we
Yeah.
start recording at 4:30.
Yeah, to be fair.
Your
I should probably
time.
do like a random time. So let's say it's 20:30. So it's 20:30. What do you think that would be?
Uh, 8:30.
Yeah, 8:30 p.m.
Okay. See,
I
I have to think about it, but
my dad uses 24-hour time on all of his devices, so I know like how to convert and stuff. I just like
Yeah.
12-hour time better.
Yeah, it just depends what you
Yeah.
grow up with, I suppose. But like the way I've always
That's
learned,
true.
because I'm terrible with maths. Like I have horrible like math skills. But how I usually do it is I take two away first, and then the 10, or just even just get rid of the one if you don't even think about taking away 10. Just take the one out or whatever it is. So like if it's 20, take away 2, that's 18. Take away the 10, that's 8. You've now got the time. That's how I usually do it. But it just depends. It
Oh,
works for some people.
that's a neat trick. That's a neat trick. I like that actually.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I very rarely have to deal with 24-hour time.
Yeah. See, that's like the
So
opposite for me. Like it's not hard. I understand 12 hours as well because I got taught both in school, so I kind of know both really well. Because like most of my watches have like an analog and digital, so I know both. But it is strange when I have to deal with 12-hour because I'm so used to everything being in 24.
that's so strange. Okay, interesting.
There you go. Culture, man. Cultural differences. Pretty
There are
wild.
some interesting ones. Yeah.
I have absolutely
We're
no idea what
look,
we're
look
talking
how far
about.
off topic. I said we're so off topic already. This is great. It's just like the old times.
Yeah.
As in like last week. Um,
I like how you say old times as if 2 weeks ago was that long ago.
that's true. That's true. We've got some interesting stuff in the news.
Yeah.
I have one thing here that I haven't added, but let's start from the top. We have more news on the Reddit
Yeah.
blackout.
I've been
This is
saying
a
this.
protest
Yeah.
to their API changes.
Yeah. I've been saying this in my server a lot because I've been sharing a lot of news stories as they've been coming out, and this is my favorite drama right now. I am hooked. I am on. I absolutely love this. It is such a goofy. It's like it went from being like I still think it's a really important thing, but it's how goofy it's gotten now with the protests. It's honestly quite funny. So
Yeah.
I'm really into this. Absolutely amazing. But yeah, I don't know if you want to kind of give people like a general, like in case maybe they aren't aware what is all going on with Reddit before we kind of dive into the new stuff.
Yeah, so we're just looking at Reddit changing their API pricing to where it's essentially just going to shut down any like third-party apps that are like any third-party clients that are acting as a better way to access Reddit. Which, again, it's funny because that's what me and Oren are both building is third-party clients. However, to access way stuff, kind of like I talked about last week, and like how that's significant, like the difference between developing for a platform that does want you to develop for it and a platform that doesn't want you to develop for it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Oren can attest to that. It's great when you have like API documentation and the API is free and like I actually have contact with the developer of the API. It's a good situation with Waystub, and that's just not the case with Reddit right now. And so in response to that, in response to those changes, you have these these subreddits that are deciding to go private and kind of protest, uh, the changes by making their content private, which is affecting kind of the information that is available to the internet in general. Because there's a lot of people who would kind of just like append like the word Reddit to their Google search in order to find out more human results.
Basically, any good results at this point, because Google is terrible. If you need to fix like a niche problem, you need to put Reddit at the end, or else you will not find a good answer at this point.
Yeah,
It's
you're either
insane.
gonna find it. You're either gonna find it on Reddit or on some like tiny like internet forum from 2003.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Or like Stack Overflow. Like those are like the three places. Like
those three
old
places.
internet forums, Reddit, and Stack Overflow.
Yeah, and occasionally maybe like Quora if you're really like desperate, you know. But other than that, it's like Reddit is kind of the go-to place now for information, especially human information. It is one of the last places that actually provides that kind of information now. But so on the last episode, we were talking about it just before the protests. I believe it was a couple days. I think it was maybe like 2 days before the protest began. So the protests happened. Now the 48-hour periods happened, and when all the subreddits went private, which I think was in the end about 8,000 subreddits, which is quite a lot, and some of them were like huge subreddits that have like over like 30. I think even like one had like over 50 million subscribers. When they all shut and went private, it crashed Reddit for like a good couple hours. You could not log on to Reddit or use it at all. It just tanked the entire website, which is pretty insane. And it does show like, I don't know, like I guess it's like a thing you can't really say that's Reddit's fault in terms of like having a bad infrastructure, because like this is not really a normal like case that you deal with on an everyday basis, like having that many subreddits go private at once. But it is pretty crazy.
Sure.
But but it didn't stop there, because obviously since they gave like an end date to it, Steve Huffman came out on like an internal memo that got leaked by The Verge, and they basically he said it's going to blow over, it won't be a big problem, and it hasn't affected us all too much. And this basically just lit the fire, and then Redditors decided to keep a lot of their subreddits private after the 48-hour period. And this is kind of when we got into the more, I'd say the wacky stuff, because up until now it's been pretty just like wow, to show how much power like the community has on Reddit. But now it's gone to just completely absurd levels, I think. But to get into that a little bit, so I'll give some examples. So some subreddits decided, after being threatened by Reddit admins who are employees of Reddit, saying that they'll remove them from the mod team and so on, that they'd reopen their subreddits. But what they did was they, I think what they said, they polled their members on how they should run the subreddit. And many subreddits have now changed their content to only show images of John Oliver, the HBO host. And it's still going on. If you go to, I think it's r/pics right now, it's all John Oliver. I'll have a quick look.
Is that... Wait, really?
Yeah, so if you go to our pics.
Oh, this is legendary.
It's like this happened, like I think they changed this like days ago. Like I think even almost a week ago, and they are still going. Every single post is John Oliver.
Dude,
It's amazing.
Lego John Oliver. There's so many. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good.
This is a
I
good
love
image
this.
here. I like this image. This is pretty funny. And it's a real one too. I think John Oliver posted it as like fodder for everyone to use. Just holding a
That
massive
is
fork.
hysterical.
It's amazing.
Oh man,
And then there's others.
this is crazy.
Another funny one was there's a subreddit. I didn't even know this subreddit existed, but it's called That Sucks. And I think the original purpose of the subreddit was like just stuff that sucks or something. Like, like, oh, that sucks. Like, that's terrible. But then they decided to make their subreddit literal. So now it's all the posts are dedicated to vacuums and things that suck.
That is absolutely legendary. Reddit is the darkest part of the internet, and yet it is
The funniest at the
some
same
of the
time.
funniest. I would say some of the funniest stuff in the world happens there.
And
It's insane.
I don't know all of them because there's a lot of them now that have done it, but I think there's another one. So some subreddits have decided to go like completely nuclear and have went not safe for work, which we all know what that is. I'm not going to explain, but basically the reason they did it was because this hurts Reddit's bottom line more because they can't advertise on that content.
Monetize that.
So Reddit's now threatening to make these subreddits not an SFW now, make them safe for work again, because they're losing money. I don't know, like they haven't. I don't know if we actually know if Reddit has lost significant amount of money from these protests so far, but yeah.
If they haven't, they're at least losing a lot of reputation, which is a
Oh,
big deal
it's
for
tarnished.
social media
It's
platforms.
tarnished the company's reputation because I don't know if you guys read the interview he did with The Verge, but it was a complete
awful.
car
It's really
crash.
bad.
It was car
I know.
crash.
I saw that.
I read the whole thing and I was like, what in the world's wrong with you? Because he kept making like claims. I think he claimed that one of the developers didn't want to work with them or made it clear they didn't work with them. But then he came out with receipts saying, no, I wanted to work with you guys, but you were just unreasonable. So it's like, what in the world's going on here? And they just keep digging this hole. Like they did, I think there was another interview he did with NBC. I think it was MSNBC. I can't remember. It was one of the American news outlets, and it was also car crash. Like the same thing. I think he called. This is something that a lot of Redditors have decided to wear as a badge of honor. I think he called them landed gentry, or something like that, and Redditors have took that to heart because this is what spurred on them to then change other subreddits to start posting like John Oliver everywhere and stuff like that. I'm going to see, while maybe you guys talk about it a bit more, I'm going to see if I can find like a list of the subreddits that have changed their communities because I'm just curious to see.
One thing I'll always, again, like I say, I most broadly, I do not respect anything about Reddit because it is just like
It's a
awful
cesspool.
platform.
Oh yeah, it's a cesspool.
It is,
Yeah, it is.
for like the worst of humanity. However, there's something admirable about the fact that they're able, like, in everything they do, they are extremely unified. Like you said, like getting everyone to post pictures of John Oliver. That's something that's so oddly specific, and like elsewhere on the internet, you probably wouldn't be able to convince like thousands and thousands of people.
I can't imagine like Twitter users doing that.
Yeah, like the way they show that form of unity is quite impressive.
Oh yeah,
and it is respectable.
So it's also a really bad time for Twitter employees in general because Reddit, a hacker group that hacked Reddit back in February, is demanding $4.5 million ransom and and changes to the API pricing as well, or they release all the information they have, which is like 80 gigabytes worth of like information.
I did see that. I saw that. I was like, "Oh my word! This is getting a little too far."
Maybe like I don't really support the hackers in terms of like it is a kind of like a grandstand, but I do like in terms of Reddit because from what I understand, at least from what Reddit and even the hackers have said, they don't have like login credentials or user info. It's mostly back-end stuff, so like documentation and other stuff like that. Because I think what they said was it was what Reddit said was a highly sophisticated phishing attack that allowed them to get access. So basically they sent a PDF or some other file, they clicked it without thinking, and I've got a virus now, probably. I wouldn't say it's probably highly sophisticated. I don't imagine it having to be. Yeah, so three of Reddit's biggest communities have reopened in the funniest way possible. So these are the r/pics, r/gifs, and r/awe must now all be about comedian and Last Week Tonight host John Oliver after users voted. A fourth r/videos will be focused entirely on Oliver beginning Tuesday, which is now passed. So they're also just all videos about John Oliver.
That is, again, like I said, it's impressive that they're able to pull something like that together. It's an impressive amount of unity for that many people who don't know each other.
I also just
Yeah,
want to make a
Reddit.
quick. Oh, sorry, you go ahead, Oren.
You can go ahead.
Okay, cool. I was just going to say, I'm going to see if I can find the photo of. I don't know if you've seen what Steve Huffman, the CEO of Reddit, looks like, but I said this in my server. I think he looks like when I think of the idea of a Redditor or a Reddit mod, I think of him. Like, he looks like the dictionary definition of a Reddit mod. I don't know
No,
why.
I have a picture of it. Let me send it.
Okay, let's go and have a look at this. Yeah, like
No,
yeah, Micah just sent a photo of him. Like he looks like a redditor. He looks like if there is like pictures in a dictionary to like define words, that would be the picture you'd see for the word redditor. It makes sense. He's a CEO, I suppose. But yeah, he's
Though apparently he doesn't understand how
Reddit works.
how it
yeah,
works.
there,
Yeah.
look at that picture.
Oh, look at his eyes.
Yeah.
What is going on, man? But
Yeah,
yeah, it's
that's crazy.
absolute chaos. Like I say, it's just every single interview and everything he said since this is like protests have began is just being worse and worse. He has dug like I feel like at least to an extent Reddit as a company has not had too much of a bad reputation compared to other big tech companies like Twitter and so on. But now, oh my god, they have completely thrown that in the gutter. Like Reddit is now absolutely despised by like I think most people now, considering what they've done. But it's quite a shame because obviously Reddit is not made. It says they have no plans to change what they're doing, so that means all these third-party apps are going to be shut down on the 30th because that's one day before the API pricing goes into effect. But yeah, I'll recommend.
That's a whole fiasco. I'm interested to see how
Yeah,
it plays out.
like I say, I think by next week we'll have a whole much more juicy stuff to talk about. 'Cause it just feels. I always think to myself, it has to stop at some point. There's no way this can keep going, and somehow something else happens. So I'm very curious to see what happens. But yeah, I definitely recommend in the meantime if people want to kind of keep up with it. There's a good like live article on The Verge right now that kind of keeps track of what's going on in Reddit right now if you're not using Reddit yourself, such as ourselves. Because I've not touched Reddit at all for like months at this point, other than like Googling stuff.
I've never actually used Reddit. I don't have an account there.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
wouldn't.
either, but I still use it every now and like if I'm gonna like Google a certain something I can't find a result on again, sketchy internet forum
Yeah,
or on Stack Overflow, then Reddit is the next choice where to look for stuff. But I also don't have an account. I will probably never have an account. I have no reason to.
yeah, I have an account, but that was back quite a few years ago, and I used to use it a little bit because it was just stuff I was interested in, and I didn't realize how toxic Reddit was. And then after like a few months, I realized, oh wow, this place sucks, and then I just like never use it after that. Like I say, I only ever look at Reddit
Fair
when I'm
enough.
googling stuff. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I say, I'm interested to see how this develops even more because it's been absolute chaos.
Yep. Yep. I'm interested now. Continuing to talk about social media, we've got a potential new Twitter competitor coming out from Mark Zuckerberg's Meta. So,
Yay!
Question mark? Like,
It's not really.
do we really need this? I know, like, okay, we've talked. I don't want to rehash things because we've already talked about this a ton. But
Yeah.
like Twitter's obviously a mess, and Musk is like driving it into the ground, whether he's meaning to or not. But like, I think everyone can agree another version of Twitter from
Mark
Meta, the company
Zuckerberg,
that's
have all
into,
people
like,
as
that
well.
we know is like the worst about data privacy and like openness about their software. Like, why do we want a Twitter rival coming from them?
Yeah. And I find it quite funny
Also,
because there's like a quote in the article where Mark, I think it was like a quote from Mark on like an investor call or something, and he says people are interested in a Twitter alternative that is like sanely run. I get what he means, but no one thinks Facebook or Instagram is sanely run. Those are
Yeah,
cesspool websites too. It's no better than Twitter.
it's true. I would say Instagram is. I still think Instagram is probably the most like stable and like reasonably run social media platform. At least the one at least run by Meta. Um, but uh, definitely like no one wanted this. I don't know who they thought
Yeah,
was their target audience for this because it's not. I don't know. It's not great.
yeah.
yeah,
Also, I've seen like screenshots of it. It's not like the greatest because it's basically Instagram without images.
pretty
That's
much.
literally all it is.
I think there's like an image. I forgot to pin it, but there was. I think The Verge had a picture of it. Of like I've seen the picture, and I don't know if you have, Micah, but like it literally just looks like Twitter. Like it looks identical, like virtually.
Oh yeah, I know.
It
Yeah,
like it's they've not
and
even
yeah.
tried. Like I know Facebook and it like Meta as a company's kind of known for just copying everything that like other like companies do. Like Snapchat, like they copied that
Mm-hmm.
with Instagram stories and stuff, and they've copied it. They've basically copied every tech company at this point, but this is like so blatant, it's ridiculous. Like it looks like no joke. When I first saw it, I was like, "Is that is just like Twitter?"
Yeah, but I mean, on all honesty, like how are you gonna like differentiate it like a lot? Like, because even like going back to waste of like what's the like there's not really a single differentiator for like what makes waste of is not like there's nothing in like the UI is pretty like a standard
Hmm.
social media UI.
Yeah,
You're not talking about anything special there. Um, the only thing the only thing that makes waste of is just like the way it's run and the size of the community. So
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
the
also
community
I was
is.
going
Uh,
Sorry, Oren.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Oh, okay. So I was just going to say, by the way, you just insulted Jeff for those design skills there. So I'd expect for you to start getting paid for the API. So just watch out, Micah.
oh boy. Let's hope not.
Yeah.
Let's hope not.
You were saying, Oren.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, really the only thing that makes it different is the community. So like if the Instagram, Twitter one like doesn't have a good community, it's
Yeah.
Hmm.
100%.
I think it. I think it mainly results from the size. I think it mainly results in like the size of the community, and I think as Waste of expands, if it expands beyond beyond like 10,000 users, I think we'll probably start to see that kind of community fade away, which is kind of sad.
uh,
Because I don't know if like I think it's just the size, the pure size. Like it's so small. Like with just like a few thousand users, and only like a few hundred that are like actually like active, like a lot. Like it feels a lot more like I don't know. It feels kind of like a Discord server, like a big group chat, more than like a social media platform.
Yeah.
I think
yeah,
that's what makes it unique.
Yeah, 100%. I think it is a big part of like just I think it's also the kind of people that are on waste of money. It's not to say everyone like is the same. It's not that, but it's more to say we all seem to have like common interests. Like there's a lot of coders and programmers on waste of. There's a lot of designers now for the last while as well, and so on. So there's like a lot of people have quite a lot of interests in common. So I think that's also the thing where there's like
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for like someone who has those kind of interests to just like find people who are interesting or they want to follow as well.
yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, this basically just turned into an ad for waste of, which I'm not
That's what
complaining
this
about.
is. I would say I'm not complaining. Waste of needs advertising, and this is great.
Exactly,
Yeah.
100%.
Waste of dot money. Waste of dot money. Um.
But yeah, getting back a bit to the so they're calling it Project 92, by the way, which I don't know why it's 92, fair whatever. But what I find weird, so what it says is it's exploring a standalone decentralized social network for sharing text updates. So what I'm understanding then is it's going to be like, I don't know if they still exist, but wasn't there like two Instagram apps that were like separate from the main app? I think it was IGTV and was it Boomerang, I think.
I think so, yeah, and they eventually were merged into the main app.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like that's the problem Instagram will have is like they're not integrating it into the main Instagram app because they know probably a lot of people will just push back on that because they tried doing that before with like changing how the feed works to be more like TikTok and people didn't like that.
Mm-hmm.
So like the fact that they're going to be making a separate app, how are they going to convince? That means people have to actually go out and download the app. Like you have to convince people to download it. So I don't know how that's gonna pan out per se. Because that's a problem. It's kind of a lose-lose because you can't integrate into Instagram because people won't like it. But then if you don't integrate in Instagram, the chances of people actually choosing to use it, I don't know how high that would actually be.
Sure. Yeah.
You know.
You know what I think is possibly again the extension of this whole deal. This is possibly the most insane piece of news that I have seen in years.
I hope the
This
cage
is the
wins.
most
I hope the cage
insane-
wins.
The most insane thing I have ever seen is Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg agreeing to fight in a cage match. How is this real? Is this reality? Like, how
Is
how
this
can
the
we be
real
living in
life?
this age?
Is this
Is this just fantasy? Dude, what world are we living in where two of the
Yo, our
biggest
Canon event is
tech
really
companies-
This honestly feels
Dude.
like we're in a simulation right now.
weird? Yeah.
I would agree with that.
I agree. I think the world is a simulation now after seeing this news. Like, not just that. Can I just say this photo that of Mark Zuckerberg wearing the military like get up here? That is so funny. He looks like he's just been like washed ashore or something, like a lizard person he is.
Dude.
It looks so
Dude,
ridiculous.
I don't even know. Have you also seen the picture of Zuckerberg like with the barbecue sauce in the background?
No, I've
Yes.
not seen that one. I mean, virtually every photo he's in, he looks weird.
It's got like Sweet Baby Ray's on a
Why
bookshelf
is he
for
got
no reason.
barbecue sauce on his
That was like a meme for like.
Oh my god. What was the one with the like what was it? It was like some sort of thing about meat, wasn't it? I can't remember what it was. He was doing like a video call and he was talking about like some smoked meat or something on like his grill in the background or something like that. It was so ridiculous. Honestly,
Yeah, dude.
he looks so
I don't even know.
weird. What's wrong with this
Dude,
man?
I legitimately don't know. But if this happens, this will be the event of the century.
Oh yeah, it is gonna be
If
so
this
good.
if this actually happens,
Who
oh,
do
dude,
you
I don't
think's
even know.
gonna
I don't
win?
even want.
I
don't
know
even
who
want-
I know who's gonna win.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be the cage. I think the cage will win.
Dude, I don't know. Elon Musk said, he tweeted, and I quote, "I have this great move that I call the walrus. I just lie on top of my opponent."
What?
Dude, I don't even know.
And then I think
I
I
don't
read
even wanna
somewhere
say-
wasn't like they said like Mark Zuckerberg actually is like training and everything like before this as well. Like he is like trained in like some sort of martial arts or something. I'm like, what?
He's trained in
Yeah,
jujitsu.
Jiu-jitsu. Like, what? Why has Mark Zuckerberg got like skilled in jiu-jitsu? Why?
Dude, I don't even know.
It's like he's
I
doing
don't
side
know.
missions or something. Like, what in the world?
Well,
I don't know. I don't even want to say anything else about this just because I want to just, like, I don't even want to have assumptions. I just want to see if this happens.
Yeah. I
I
just,
don't even know, man.
it's honestly,
I don't know.
the news this week in general has just been weird, but this was like the cherry on top.
It's some really bizarre stuff, dude. I don't even know. I
Yeah.
don't even know.
What about you, Oren? Who you placing your bets on?
well, Elon is 6 inches taller and he's like 50 pounds more. So, I mean, that's something.
He has the
Maybe
sheer physical
he has
advantage.
like the,
Also- Did you see? Andrew Tate offered to let him train with him.
Oh dear, what is this news story, man?
Dude, the world we live in. The world we live in. I don't even know, man.
It's just get me out of this simulation. It's weird. I don't like it now.
It's strange. Yeah, we'll see how it plays out, dude. If this happens, I will. You can guarantee I'll be tuning in. I've never watched a cage
Oh,
fight in my
TNC
life,
Live. We'll
but
do a TNC Live for it.
if it happens, we will do a live TNC reaction.
100%.
To this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, was there not something else you wanted to talk about? I think you said at the start. You said there was something else you wanted to quickly bring up. I don't know if that was still.
See, there was, and I have completely forgotten. I don't even know.
TNC.
I don't know. And we're also 45 minutes in the
Okay,
episode.
fair
We
enough.
haven't even reached the primary topic, so should probably go ahead and
TNC
move
way
on.
there. That's a TNC way.
It is. It is. Oren, it is your time to take the stage. So why don't you explain to us a little bit about Way Stuff for iOS? Actually, wait. First, did you listen to the last episode of TNC?
Yeah.
Oh god, here we go.
Okay.
This is what I was waiting.
Okay,
I was
all right.
hoping he was because I'm waiting on you to brawling it out here. We're gonna have our own cage fight here between
Our
Micah and
own cage
Oren.
fight? Oh goodness. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and explain kind of like what your goal with the Waste of iOS app is, and kind of how you're going about that.
I mean, mostly, it's not like I'm mostly doing it to learn, because
Sure.
I want to make other apps. Also, I do like this app though, because like I wanted to make one for a while. So, but yeah, it's mostly to learn, and also it's because I want to make an Apple Watch app as well.
That's fair.
Oh yeah,
I've been
that's a
wanting to
meme
make
on Waste of quite a lot. Is how it doesn't work on the Apple Watch.
There's like 5 or 6 different Apple Watch users. It's actually weird how many there are.
It's really strange. It really is.
I'm waiting on someone getting a Samsung smart fridge and using Waste of on that.
Dude, for real. I've considered making an Android Wear app for it. However, I don't own a Pixel Watch. I only own a Fossil Gen 5, which is like an older version of Wear OS. And
Yeah.
so like if I made an app for like modern like Android watches, like I would not be able to use it because it's like a significantly different watch. But
Yeah.
that's a reasonable approach to take. An Apple Watch app would be quite neat. I know because there's, like you said,
Yeah.
there's a lot of
When,
Apple
but
Watch users.
the real question is, when are we going to get a Windows Phone app? Come on, guys, hurry up, get on it.
I don't know. Can you make Windows Phones app?
No, because I mean I don't think so. I mean you can make a window like a UWP app for like Windows itself, but I don't think
That's
there's an
true,
actual
but I don't think it's
Windows Phone
compatible. I think
No.
don't think modern.
app. Well, Windows
UWP
Phone's been
is
dead for so
compatible.
long now. I don't think so. I just thought it'd be funny just to say because I think that'd be quite comedic if someone did do it. I'm just thinking now we need to get Waste of on all the most obscure or weird places it can be, just for like the pure
Yeah.
comedy of it.
We need to get it on the
Waste-
Vision Pro when that comes out.
Yeah, definitely.
There's what was I gonna say?
The what poor
Oh,
soul's
right,
going to pay for it? That's a real question.
The Oh my word, dude, my brain is broken this morning.
Yeah, he's forgetting things.
I would say
He's
I'm
malfunctioning.
tripping over here.
Maybe like Mark Zuckerberg. like a
I was
cyborg.
gonna say Waste Up is like the new Doom. Like, this is like instead of like can it run Doom, it's can it run Waste Up. That's like the test for a computer is
Can it run
Up.
waste stuff? Yeah.
If it can't run Waste Up, it's not really a computer.
Yeah, that's a great test. No joke, when I first set up my new PC, the first thing I did was I better make sure it runs waste stuff. So maybe it is the new Doom.
That is hysterical. Like, what do you mean? Like, runs? Like, you just like went to wasteof.money?
Yeah, I just went to, no joke, I went and downloaded Firefox, installed it, and I was like, right, before I even log in, I'm just going to check waste stuff to make sure my Ethernet was going to work on it. Because
That
for
is
some
amazing.
reasons, like, I used to on my old computer, back when I first got it, for some reason Firefox couldn't detect the Ethernet, which I don't know why, but I fixed it, but I was just making sure it wasn't it must have just been a bug at the time. But whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was also kind of funny because I was actually thinking the same thing at the time. It's like, oh, it's like the new Doom.
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's crazy, actually. That's really, yeah. I don't know. Waste of money is definitely like the closest, like, I don't know. When I was on Scratch was kind of like my kind of like the public facing community. But since I've left Scratch, I guess it's been probably almost a year now. Since I left Scratch, it's been like Waste of is very much like kind of taking that place of like if there's like a public community that I am like most known for taking part in, or like the public community that I feel
Yeah.
like most comfortable in, it's probably Waste of. And of course, like private community would probably be like the whole federation of like Taz Hangout adjacent servers.
Yeah.
Just like Taz Hangout and like
It's honestly really funny
like a server and like the Vox box, all the like all
Yeah.
that general stuff. So.
Yeah, because I remember like it's like I was like I know it's a joke, but like virtually every single episode now we bring up my server at some point because something's happened there that's relevant to the episode, and it's pretty funny.
I know it's not even like the servers are so interconnected now, especially since we have like all the announcements channels connected. Like anything that happens in your server like ends up like being discussed in my server or vice versa, or like, dude, it's all interconnected. But that's kind of like the private community. I would say that I'm kind of
Speaking on my server,
Join my server, please.
join the server. You know what would make it easier for people to join the server? If you had a domain name that wasn't tazhangout.versal.app.
Yeah.
Learn to type faster, bro.
Is .ut a valid domain?
I don't know. I have absolutely no clue. Maybe, I mean, there's .zip now. I don't know why Google let that happen, but you know.
Yeah, I don't even know.
Actually, that's the thing, by the way. That's gone now. Google's selling it off now. Google domains. So that's going to
Google Domains is being
the
sold.
Google graveyard grows once again.
Yeah, well, it's not really. It's kind of different because they're not killing the service. They're just giving it to Squarespace.
I guess so, but it's kind of like, I mean, the Google domains like service itself is technically going away, just not the domains
That's true.
themselves.
Didn't Squarespace already like sell domains though? Didn't they already have something like that?
I think they did, so it'll probably be merged in, kind of.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, we got completely off topic again. What about your other? Do you have any other projects you're working on at the moment, Oren? I know I used your what was it? Waste of Stats. I used that a few times. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, Waste of Stats is kind of broken because of API changes. Once I finish this app, I'm probably gonna like go back and do some like fix it and stuff. By that point, probably like the API will be like more stable because right now Jeffel is like making Waste of 4, so he's making a lot of changes and stuff. But
Yeah. Cool. Very nice.
Waste of Stats is a cool app though. Like when it works, it's a pretty cool app. It's got lots of interesting.
It helps me stroke
data
my
on there.
ego.
Fair enough. It's also built with Svelte, which is like great.
I've heard of
Svelte
it. I
is the
don't.
best web framework.
I have had very little experience with it. but
I have
do.
zero experience with it. I've heard of it, but I have zero experience in it. So
You should use it.
maybe. I still don't have a domain. I need to get the domain sorted first. But then after that, we'll
Sure.
get that sorted.
We're gonna find you a good domain.
Yeah.
Ta.app.
Ooh, ta.app. I could just use. I mean, you could use it to redirect. It could be like data.hangout or something if there's like a data one, because then I can also use that for the
That's
personal
true,
site as
yeah.
well. Because right now my personal site is like data.versal.app.
I would say you'd probably want a secondary. I don't know. I'm gonna look for a good domain because I like domain shopping. It is as an owner of about 5 domains, it's an addiction.
Yeah. Well, like virtually every time I see, like virtually every time you start a new project, I see you just like, he's gonna make a domain for this. He's gonna make a redirect.
I almost always have like a subdomain.
Yeah. I think it's just
But-
an addiction of yours that you haven't overcome.
It's probably true.
It's his vice. But yeah.
This is true.
Is there anything else you want to mention here, Oren? Like any other projects that you're working on or anything else interesting?
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, I haven't been doing that much recently because it's summer.
Yeah. But I say I'm quite interested to see how the iOS app turns out because at the moment, obviously, we don't have support for that on iOS at the moment. So it'd be pretty cool to have 2 competing apps because I like to see you and Micah duel it out.
Yeah.
Like I said,
I
I mean,
currently have-
statistically, statistically it should be easier for Orin to get users because there's more iOS users, at least in the US, than there are Android users. So
Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, hopefully that cage fight does happen though between you and Oren. Need to see it.
Yeah.
Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. I'm happy to be the referee. I have absolutely no clue, but I'll do it anyway. I'll be the commentator maybe.
I think you should get data.how.
How? Just how? How did he even get this domain? How did this happen?
Data.how. Data.wiki.
.wiki. Ooh. Very nice.
I just love looking at so stupid.
Is there any other
domains.
stupid ones?
Now, this is actually kind of cool. I kind of like this data.space.
.space. Ooh.
That's an interesting little thing.
Yeah. Where are you looking?
I'm looking around.
I did look in GoDaddy, I think, a few days ago, but
Namecheap is my go-to
Namecheap.
domain registrar. They're relatively cheap. They run a lot of sales and stuff like that, but they've also got like a really good admin dashboard, and their support's really good too. I was having trouble the other day because like updating something. I was like, hey, like what is going on here? And they're like, oh, we're very sorry. Like we're doing like a server update. It's probably gonna take about 2 hours, and then everything should be back to normal. I was like, oh, that's the first time I've actually had anyone like explain something to me over like, a tech support chat.
Ooh,
so rare to
data.gg.
find a good one. Data.gg would be quite good.
Data.lol. There you go.
That would be funny.
Data.monster as well. That's quite funny.
That would be quite funny.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. But yeah, that's neat. Warren. I am. Jokes aside, I am looking forward to seeing how Way Stuff for iOS goes, because it will be a full native app using again all the Swift. You got your Swift frameworks and everything.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see how that looks out. I'm personally not a fan of Apple's like standard app UI conventions, but I know a lot of people are, and that's obviously why I'm not using iPhone. But I do hope it goes well for you. I hope you're able to finish it, because that would be,
Thanks.
I know, quite good for all those iOS users out there, because waste of on devices without apps is unless it's on desktop, it's quite a pain to use on mobile.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna make a Mac app as well. So.
Ooh. Oh, you got to
don't-
make a Windows app now, Micah, to equalize it.
See,
Yeah.
I could. Like, that's the thing, though. I could literally compile my current app to, like, React Native.
I mean,
that's why I like React Native.
actually, on Windows
you can
11,
compile React Native to...
on Windows 11, you can just install the APK file. You can just download the Waste of Money
That's true.
APK and literally just install the actual Android app on Windows now. But that's kind of cheating, I guess.
Well, but there's also, like, React Native doesn't just compile to Android. It compiles to Android and iOS and Windows, and I think Mac, too.
Ooh,
So, like,
competition here. The cage fight's gonna happen.
Well, I can't compile anything to Mac because I don't own a Mac, so that won't be happening.
I mean, I can upload your app if you want. I just think mine's gonna be better for iOS.
Ooh,
Obviously.
that's fighting words. This is great. It's like, this is gonna be great.
It'll probably be better for the people who prefer, for anyone that has an Apple device by choice. I'm sure yours will be better because, again, it's going to be in Swift. It's going to use their UI conventions. Like, if my app, if Waste of Mobile was ported to iOS, then it would be like, it's still going to use Google's design conventions and stuff like that, because I'm not going to redesign the entire UI for iPhone. So for people who prefer Apple products, yeah, I will admit it. Like, it's gonna be a better product for you. So.
Yeah, I personally like Apple like Swift UI design. I think it looks better than Material. But I mean, Material's okay in my opinion. I just like
Material
Apple better.
Material U is extremely divisive.
I quite like it.
Just the way I quite like it personally.
I actually like both.
But
See, I'm quite a
it's
fan of
very-
Apple's design and Android's design nowadays, or Google's in general. I'm not The only thing I have an issue with Google right now is their like icon design has been horrible. Like what is
Oh,
like
like
the
for their
yeah
apps.
yeah because
Yeah.
Authenticator like the old app icon was great. It's like it's the Google logo as a vault. It looks great. It's super clever. And then they changed it to like an asterisk. What?
Yeah, dude, I don't even know.
It was
I
just
don't know.
stupid.
That's a whole thing.
And I
I
still I
prefer.
still
I'm
miss the
weird
old Gmail
because,
logo.
in all honesty, I much appreciate. Like, I really appreciate Apple's like the way their operating system itself is
Mm.
designed. Like, I think the design and cohesiveness there is like really good and
Yeah.
probably better than Android 13.
I actually
Um,
saw
but
this video. I think it's of a new iOS 17 feature, and it's the one where you can share your contacts by just touching the top of the phones together. And the
I don't know
animation,
why Android
Yeah, that
has
looks
that.
really
yeah,
good.
the animation for it is so slick. I mean, like I say, I'm not a
Yeah,
big, as we all know, I'm not the biggest Apple fan, but I do appreciate their design because I think they are very,
yeah.
very good with it.
Yeah, Apple
That's the
has
weird thing though.
like
Like I said, I think they have the best. I think they have the best like overall like cohesive like operating system design. I
Equal,
just don't
yeah,
like the way like their like their general app toolkit works. Or their general app UI toolkit is designed. I'm not a giant fan of that, but I really
yeah.
respect how they design their operating system. I think it's
My
really good.
biggest problem is more just like compatibility. Like
Sure.
it's just for me. I don't use one operating system. Like even now, I use Android on my phone. I've got a Windows 11 PC, and then my laptop's a Chromebook. You know the Duet free. So like I can't. I need apps that work on all of those cohesively and can like work fit around my workflow. You know, that's just not
Yeah.
so I can't. The problem with Apple devices, 'cause I have an iPad, but it doesn't really fit in all the time. Like for example, the Firefox app or and that on iOS, it just it's Safari. It's Safari under the hood. So what's the point in using it? You know, it's just pointless. That's my
I've been
biggest
waiting
problem.
for that announcement for you. I've been waiting on that announcement for years.
I
Like
know.
Apple announcing that, hey, we'll maybe allow like third-party browser engines like now.
Wow,
And I've
amazing.
been waiting on that for years.
Yeah, bring the headphone jack back too. I'm very angry, and that includes Android.
I would say that's not going to happen anytime soon.
I know, and I'm angry
That's very
about it.
sad.
I will never not be angry about it.
You know, I'm acknowledging that we're far off topic here, but like I was like when they first released when they first decided, okay, no more headphone jacks for like any phone ever. Um, like I was like really like, oh, this is like awful and it's stupid and I hate it. But then like over like I've had this is the first phone I have a Pixel 6a and this is the first phone I've had that didn't have a headphone jack. Um, and I've honestly been like kind of surprised by like how little that affects me because I guess I didn't realize like I switched like to Bluetooth audio like very gradually like before I got this phone like just unintentionally and like now I'm like all my like my both of my favorite Bluetooth speakers or both of my favorite speakers are Bluetooth. I have Bluetooth earbuds. I have Bluetooth over the ear headphones. Like I'm like I don't really like I really don't have if I'm gonna use wired headphones like I'm using wired headphones right now, but it's just because my microphone has like live monitoring through that.
Yeah.
Um, but like I was kind of surprised by how little I use like aux jacks anymore. So.
See, I'm the opposite. I use them a lot because the problem is I have like really specific problems because like I've had issues. I think I mentioned this on Waste Stuff. Like I have issues with ear impaction because I used to use earbuds all the time and it's caused me problems. So I can't use in ears anymore. They're out the door.
Ah,
So the only two things I can use is headphones, but I don't want to always use headphones because I mean they're kind of obvious. They also kind of block out all the noise, even if you have open
yeah.
backs. I'm not going to get open backs because then it doesn't serve the purpose because then it's leaking out all the noise. So the only earbuds I can actually use are the Apple EarPods because they're the only ones that don't go actually inside your ears and they don't what is it block out noise, and also the only one of those kind of earbuds that actually have bass in them. you know so the problem is they're wired. I need to have a wire, and I know there's
Yeah.
AirPods, but the problem is I don't own Apple devices, so they're not that compatible, so it's not really worth the money for me.
Do you have a C to a USB C to a USB-C to audio jack adapter?
I have one in a box, but I don't use it because my phone's a Note 9 still, so I have the headphone jack still. I'm
Oh,
holding on for dear life,
okay.
but eventually this phone I'll need to upgrade, and obviously it'll either be a Pixel or a Samsung, so they both don't have headphone jacks anymore. So then after that, I'm going to have to use a dongle, which is annoying because it's just annoying because then I have an extra thing I need to carry around with me all the time.
Though to be fair, if you're only going to be using this, if you're only going to be using the head like this one pair of wired headphones, you can kind of just like act like the USB-C to aux jack is kind of just like a dongle attached to that cord.
No, but I use other wired stuff as well.
Okay,
So that's
yeah,
the problem.
yeah, that breaks.
That's the issue.
Dude, I don't know.
You know?
It's awful. I wish we had audio jacks back.
Yeah, because it's just annoying, and not just that. It's actually another thing, and it was a good point. I think it was DankPods, a YouTuber, who made that point. The problem is, right, there's old headphones from like even the 80s and that. They still sound good to this day. Headphones don't go out of date in terms of their sound. So the problem is, all those headphones are being made obsolete now because there's more and more devices don't have headphone jacks. And I know there's things with dongles, but the problem is with those dongles is they don't have enough power sometimes to actually fully utilize the audio quality of these headphones. So it's like, what's the point then? Again, it's the thing where it's I get the point, but it's also annoying because then you're just neglecting, stuff like that. Maybe I'm like a very niche like use case, I suppose, but it is still annoying for me.
Yeah, no, I feel that.
But yeah, we should probably get back
I
on
think
topic.
that actually, I would say that kind of segues well into the music segment.
That was smooth. Nice.
You can't keep pointing out the
I
transitions.
will.
It's
I'm
not
sorry.
good.
I'm sorry. It was just instinct. Oh,
I feel that. No, I feel that.
I'm
it's
melting
all
over
good.
here,
It's all
man. My
good.
brain's turning to
I don't
mush.
actually feel. Fair enough. I don't. Yeah, no, I don't actually care. Why don't you go first, though, Sean? What have you been listening to?
I've already just mentioned it. I've not actually listened to it all too much recently, but I was just thinking about it for some reason. Because I don't know if you guys follow Gorillaz all too much, but they released an album just this year. And honestly, I mean, it's not bad, but it's pretty mid. I feel like most of Gorillaz since Plastic Beach in 2010 has been pretty mediocre. It's just not been as good. But the reason I wanted to bring up Song Machine was it was the album that just came out prior to their latest record. And it was like a weird blip where they just kind of made an actually really good record. But it's kind of unconventional. So how it worked was every single track is a single. It's not like a traditional album where you might have like a couple singles, then the album. It was more like every single track was released as a single with a music video. And it was kind of this idea where they would make the tracks all unique. And then it's almost more like a compilation than an album. But it's more just every track, while they sound different, they also have a similar ethos behind them in terms of being the style. Like it's very, there's orientalness. There's a lot of oriental tracks and different kind of sounds from different places around the world and that, and also just different styles of music. Because then you've got, for example, there's Désolé, which is like a more kind of oriental track, but then you've got something like Dead Butterflies, which has a trap beat to it. So it's like completely off the wall and very much Gorillaz, at least what I imagine Gorillaz, which is kind of wacky and a bit odd and a bit strange. But the record's just kind of like wall to wall, just kind of bangers. Like every track's just kind of slaps, honestly. The only track I don't care for is like Friday the 13th with Octavian. It's a bit, it's okay, but it's a bit mid. But other than that, I mean, it's a pretty good record. There's even one track, and it's the weirdest mix of artists. So it's called The Pink Phantom. So it has Elton John, and it has Black on the record, and I'm like, that is the strangest combination of people, but somehow it works. Like I actually like that track. It's one of my favorites. I don't know why. Like it shouldn't work, but yet it does. But yeah, it's just a really good record that kind of felt like Gorillaz getting back on their feet a little bit in terms of being a bit more daring and taking risks and stuff, and kind of going back to what I think made Gorillaz as a virtual band appealing, was that they were a bit off the wall, a bit strange and stuff. But yeah, so hopefully that's interesting, and some of you might want to listen to that.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah.
I've been listening to. I recently rediscovered. I think I've talked about here before. Cody Fry, who primarily does like I call it orchestral pop or symphonic pop. But you've got like this like pop style songwriting, but a much more orchestral feel. It's got lots of like lots of full strings, and he's played songs. He's done recordings with like the London Philharmonic Orchestra and stuff like that. However, I recently rediscovered his older stuff. He has like I think it's like 4 or 5 songs that are collaborations with a guy named Corey Wong, who's an electric guitarist, and like um, so like all of their songs are like so like very different than like so very different than like his orchestral stuff. It's like
Uh-huh.
modern. It's like modern, like jazz pop, like lots of like jazz horns and saxophone and like electric guitar solos, and it's just like so like very different. And it consistently blows me away. Like I don't think Cody Fry's incapable of making. I think Cody Fry is incapable of making bad music. Like whatever genre he does, whether it's like soft smooth jazz or like modern like rock jazz or like orchestral pop or like plain old like composition, it's like everything is just so good, and so it's just really like really just fun upbeat songs. So there's a few songs. I think Better and Want You Back are my or Want Me Back. Better and Want Me Back are like my 2 favorites that I've discovered from that. But if you haven't listened to Cody Fry, I can highly recommend. I have a whole playlist that you can find on my Spotify profile called Cody Fry is a Genius. And it's like all of his like various different like the first track is like just like no vocals but just like an orchestral composition, and the second one is like modern jazz pop, and the third one is like orchestral pop, and it's like it's good. Highly recommend. Cannot recommend Cody Fry enough. Good stuff.
Nice. Very nice.
Oren, you're up.
Um, I haven't been listening to that much music lately, but I think the best one recently is the Across the Spider-Verse soundtrack by Metro Boomin. Like, I really like his music. I think he's pretty good, and it's generally just like a normal like rap album. There's a lot of features and stuff, and I haven't actually seen the movie. I want to see it, but uh, I feel like it goes well with at least like the other Spider-Verse movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've both
No, it's a
seen
good
it.
soundtrack.
Well, Mike has seen it multiple times. I've seen it as well. Yeah, the music's used
I've
really
seen it
well
twice. Yeah. It's so good. Yeah, it's really good. The music is not used as well as it is in the first movie, but I think
It makes up for
honestly,
it.
I like some of I would say I like some of the music from this soundtrack more than I liked it from the first soundtrack, just because Metro Boomin is like such a good producer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really appreciate that entire album is really good. What is it called? I think it's "Am I Dreaming" is I think my favorite track
Yeah,
from
that's
that
one of my
soundtrack.
favorites. I think my favorites
It's
are
good.
Annihilate, Am I Dreaming, and Hummingbird, probably.
Hummingbird is good.
Yeah.
Hummingbird is a good song.
Yeah. I'd say that's probably my top 3 as well. But yeah, definitely that's a great record.
Yeah.
That's probably also another thing.
No, it is a good record.
Definitely go and watch Spider-Verse though. Absolutely a great film. No spoilers
Yeah, I
though.
want to see it. I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, definitely
It is
is.
good. Prepare yourself for the cliffhanger, but it is very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think we're about ready to wrap it up. This is the shortest episode we've had in a while.
Wow.
I think
Look at that. We're
I think ready
almost
to wrap
we're
it
not
up.
like an hour and a half. That's insane.
Look at that. We're getting close there. So, this has been the New Creators. I'm Micah.
I'm Sean.
And I'm Oren.
We would like to remind you about the Discord server, which you can find on our bio link page at bio.link/TNC. And yeah, we don't really know exactly what our plans are for next episode. We have talked about at some point getting me, Sean, and Perrin on and kind of doing like a. I don't know if we would do it in the form of TNC Live, some sort of
Probably would
some
have
sort
to
of
be
TNC
TNC
content.
Live, I think.
Probably would have to be a live, yeah, of us just kind of playing around with the Ta SMP Minecraft server. So we that might be coming soon. But
Yeah.
other than that, no plans for the far future.
We shall
but
see.
yeah,
Probably
thank you
probably
for
more
listening.
Reddit. Probably more Reddit drama, I imagine, in the future.
That is yeah, and maybe live cage fight reaction.
Yeah, that too. And also the cage fight between you and Oren as well.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Speaking of, where can we find you, Oren?
You can find me on, well, my website is lindsay.studio, LINDSEY, or you can find me on wasteof at Orin.
Nice.
Indeed. Well, thanks again, Warren, for joining us. I hope you enjoyed your time on the podcast. And
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries,
yeah,
man.
absolutely, anytime. Yep, and thank you, audience, for listening. We'll see you in the next one.
Au revoir.